All right. It is. It's live, isn't it?
It's live.
All right. Well, welcome to the BDSM podcast, Booze, Desserts, Smoke, and Meats. And I am Professor Porkloin, and I'm here with my awesome co-host.
The Meat Viking.
And we are still continuing our journey around the United States, and we have finally come to the P's.
Yep.
So we are in Pennsylvania, which is my home state. So I think this is definitely going to be a two-parter for sure, just because I think that there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. And I think I could probably go on about some local restaurants because I've been around the state enough to know. And even though we have talked about some of the things, I think it's okay to revisit just right off the bat. But we do have our safe word for the day, and it is cheesesteak, which is very, very fitting for the city of brotherly love and the Keystone State itself. So I think that will certainly come into play. And then I don't have anything in my cup today. You said you're grabbing something, but it's probably just some seltzer water or something.
Actually, no. The wife and I have been playing Valheim, which is a Viking-inspired survival game. And the other night, she was like, I kind of want actual mead. And so we went and we picked up 2 growlers of mead. And then I saw this, and it is by capital B and then Nectar, Nektar. It is their New Wave Lemonade, which is mead made with blueberry and lemon.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yep. They come in a 4-pack of cans. They are on the pricey side. You're looking at like $16 for the 4-pack. It rocks a respectable 6.1 APV in a 12 fluid ounce can. And the thing I love about mead, man, it's literally water, honey, sugar, and this one has blueberry juice, lemon juice, and like your potassiums, just to like prevent separation and stuff while it's being canned.
That's kind of expensive though for a 4-pack.
Oh yeah, like that's why I said it's on the pricier side.
I mean, we all know that I make my own stuff, so I can definitely get that ABV a lot higher. But for that ABV for $14, I mean, as long as it tastes good, I guess, right?
It does have a good taste. I actually just opened it up, and you get that mead hint on the nose right when you cock it open.
Okay.
And then you get that blueberry lemonade, and then anybody who's drinking mead before, you get that mead aftertaste, which I enjoy.
Okay. All right.
So it's also like 90 here, so I figured a little cool, refreshing drink to make the day go better. So, but I have been drinking a lot more sparkling water, and had I not picked this up, I was going to mention Liquid Death sparkling water. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not.
I think I have heard of that before.
If you're a fan of sparkling water, or even if you're not, I would recommend giving this a try because it kind of turned me around on sparkling water.
I mean, I like sparkling water no matter what, but
yeah. So
okay, might have to give that a shot then.
I would recommend getting the black can, because their white can is like mountain water, their black can is sparkling water, and then recently they've been coming out with flavored ones too. One I do like for sure is Mango Chainsaw, and then I had one with a little bit of lime in it the other day. That was pretty good too. I just don't remember the name of it.
Okay. Well, cool. So I don't know where we could start with this one because I feel like we have talked about some of the main things in previous episodes, and like one of the first thing that pops to my head obviously is the Philly.
Yep.
We've talked about that before, and I guess listeners, if you want to go back to one of the earlier episodes, probably within the first 10, I think, first 10 episodes we did that.
Possibly, yeah.
We break down the whole entire debate between, what's good with the cheese and what what's good with Geno's and whatnot. But I still feel like it's something that's a big thing within Pennsylvania, and
Yep.
the Philly style cheesesteak is gonna be your biggest thing
Hmm.
and the most recognizable stuff
Yep.
when you're talking about food. So I feel like I just have to mention that in there,
Right.
and the
Which is
fact that
why
it's
I would say, which is why I thought cheesesteak would be an appropriate safe word for today's episode, because we've already talked at length about cheesesteaks that we would just gloss over them today. You know.
we have. Um, And we kind of talked about in another episode as well, and I think I'll mention this too, looking at the hoagie versus the submarine versus the
Hmm.
sandwich and whatnot too, the Italian sub. So I think listeners, if you want to learn more about that one too, you can certainly go back to again episode something, and maybe the Meat Viking can flash up whatever episode or link that episode to us in the description,
Yep.
just so that you can have a chance to look back and think, because we did have a pretty good discussion about that and who was the winner, I guess. But that's definitely one of the big things in Pennsylvania foods. But one of the first things I want to talk about where you can get a nice sub or a hoagie, and it's definitely a Pennsylvania thing, is sheets.
Okay.
Man, I love sheets, right? And any person who is a Pennsylvania native loves sheets as well. And I'll even say that there's that debate going on between Wawa and Sheets as well. I don't know if Wawa is from Pennsylvania, but I know Sheets is. And dude, I don't know. Have you ever been to a Sheets before?
No, this is something that's new and familiar to me.
So where you're at in Ohio, I think the closest one is at the Ohio-Pennsylvania border on Interstate 80. There's one that's right over when you cross into Ohio, because I used to stop there for gas whenever I go visit my family. Um, Dude, you can go into a Sheets, and it's one of those one-stop shop things. It's not on the level of like say a Bucky's, because you know what a Bucky's is.
I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah, it's not on that level. They're not that big. And Bucky's is super clean. You know, you could basically eat off the floor, eat off the toilet. Like they clean that shit all the time. Sheets is
Hmm.
not like that. Sheets is kind of like uh the cousin of that one, where
Okay.
you can get one-stop shop of everything, but it's not gonna be your cleanest thing to go for.
Gotcha.
You know, like you're not going to walk in and there's going to have a shit ton of registers. You can do whatever. No, they got like one register, some old lady working the counter. It's been there for 10 years, 20 years, whatever.
Yeah.
But the cool thing that I always liked about it is that they always had the touch screens and that you could build your own your food.
Hmm.
And this was way back. I mean, you're talking 2003, and even before that, they always had those touch screens to say, yeah, I want 6-inch hoagie with turkey, lettuce, tomato, mayo, sweet peppers. But I also want to get, let's get a meatball sub, and let's get some dessert, whatever it is. You can throw it all into that computer into one order. And then they call out
Nice.
your number like, hey, you got, 64, 64. And it used to be where you could take your thing and then pay for it, like they call out your number, you pick up your stuff, and then you could pay for it at the register. But then they wound up changing, and I don't know what year it was, but now it's essentially you have to pay for it first, and they like stamp it to say that it's paid,
Hmm.
and then they call your number and you drop your receipt in and say, yeah, here's my number, pick up your stuff.
Nice.
But it's always whenever I go home to visit the parents and the family, that's one of the first stops I get off for a gas station, is to go to Sheets or Wawa, whatever one is closest, depending on which way that we fly in.
Nice.
So I definitely love that place. Totally would love to get an endorsement. If I had one down here, that'd be super cool too. But
Yeah.
uh, if you get a chance to go out that way, you will not be disappointed. Just don't have it up into the pedestal level of like Bucky's.
Right. So pretty much after you've been to a Bucky's, every gas station is like a 7-Eleven that even tries.
And I mean, for the listeners that don't know, or I've never heard of a Bucky's before. It is like the Cadillac of all gas stations.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, did we talk about that in the Texas episode? Did we mention that one?
I believe we did.
Yeah, so you can listen to that one too, but we'll briefly just say here too. I mean, Bucky's is like you can go in and it's going to be a one-stop shop. You can buy a freaking smoker there while you get your barbecue, and then you could take a dump in the cleanest bathroom that you've ever been in.
Yeah, that bathroom will be cleaner than the one in your own house. Almost can guarantee it.
Yeah, every time I've been in there, man, there's always been one person cleaning it, and I've been in there multiple hours of the day.
Yeah.
I just think they just have one person full time. You clean the bathroom for your job for 8 hours.
There was a time that I had to take a 22-hour round trip to work all by car. And I went and stopped at a Bucky's. I had always heard good things about him, but I just needed gas. And I was like, well, while I'm in here, I'm going to go get some snacks. And I kid you not, they had a full-on humidor inside of that Bucky's. So I picked up like 4 cigars for the road. It was great.
Just popping those bad boys while you're driving, huh?
Yeah, dude, I think I went through 3 energy drinks, 4 cigars, just on the angriest road trip I'd ever been there and back.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah. That's a whole nother tale in itself, though.
Yeah, well, that we can save that for another day.
Mm-hmm. Now, I might be wrong on this, but isn't Yingling from Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir. Yingling is from Pennsylvania. It is the oldest brewery. Well, I shouldn't say oldest in all of U.S. because obviously there was some breweries that didn't make it, but it is the oldest operating brewery in America, and it was. I think it started in like 1870 something or 1880, somewhere in the late 1800s. But yes, sir, Yingling is one of the big ones.
Oh.
Which is kind of funny because it's not like the biggest mass producing when you're looking at barrels.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Anheuser-Busch and you have Miller Coors. Yingling, I think, is like number 5.
Mm-hmm.
But they only sell to, I think they're at like 16 states now, and a majority of them are on the East Coast.
The only reason I remembered Yingling for today's episode is while we went and got mead yesterday, they've got a bunch of things on tap, and we were bringing 64-ounce growlers in to fill them up. And on the screen, in beautiful, bold, and italicized letters, I saw the Yingling Hershey's Porter, and I instantly thought of you.
I'm surprised that that's still out.
Yep. It's
normally
on tap.
That runs really. That's got to be some older beer then, because that normally runs from, I think, like October to February.
Yeah, there's a good chance it could be an older beer because the place that we go to is, how do I put this, very beer aficionado friendly. Like, they've got stuff you've probably never even heard of, but it's on some like beer snobs top 10 list of this is the beer that I get and this is the only beer I drink kind of thing. You know?
Okay.
Not like the NASCAR top 10 where it's like I drink Budweiser, Michelob Ultra, and that. This is like I drink fucking Tasty Sunrise, 13% Imperial Stout, and only Tasty Sunrise, you know?
Gotcha. Okay.
By the way, I don't know if that's an actual drink name. It's just one that came to my mind. So.
But what's cool about Yingling, though, and I mean, it's one of those nostalgic beers, right? Like, I grew up drinking it. It's one of those ones where everybody had Yingling, and a little secret is that if you're in Pennsylvania, you don't call it Yingling, you call it a lager.
Yep.
I mean, that is, if you go to a bar and someone says, "Yeah, give me a Yingling," we know you're not from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
But they originally started out with just their lager, and they have diversified a shit ton now. I've looked at a couple of their newer brews, and they've got some lighter beers. They got that Hershey Porter. They've got some other ones that were not the staple of that. So it's kind of interesting to see how they've grown. And like I said, it's more of a nostalgic beer. I think if you look at the rating of it, I don't even know if it makes the top 50, like most popular beers. It's again, it's one of those tastes where it's like, hey, I remember this as a younger person drinking it. I feel like there's still plenty of other beers in Pennsylvania that kind of outshine that one, but you're never going to turn down a lager. If someone's like, "Oh man, all I have is Yingling," you're gonna be like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna drink that."
So it has an overall score of 78.
Yeah,
This is just for the American Lager Red. It is ranked 29,560th. And I
I
believe
knew it.
a lot of that is simply due to accessibility.
Yeah, I mean, so I moved to Ohio in 2010, and we didn't get Yingling till what, like 2013 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone went nuts. Like I remember when Ohio was like, "Oh yeah, they're bringing Yingling in," and I used to just smuggle it across the border every time that I would go back to my family. I'd bring like 3 cases back. And then let's see, I moved to Texas in 2016, and I don't think we got it until like 2018 or 2019. So I mean, that's still a pretty big gap between when Ohio and when Texas got it, and then like Louisiana. I would do the same thing. We go over to Louisiana, pick up some cases, and come back. So I know that they have definitely increased their distribution. So I'm super happy about that. And I do have to talk about that porter because it does go right into one of the other things that's Pennsylvania is Hershey.
Mm-hmm.
So the Yingling Porter, the chocolate porter, oh man, when that came out, it was one of the hardest things to find because everybody was just buying it up. And it actually is a really good beer, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a nice flavor to it. You can taste some of the chocolate. And for the longest time, for that first year, it was only offered in on draft, and you could only get it at certain bars that picked it up, and they had a restriction on how many kegs you can buy. And I think it was a good marketing tool for them because it was one of those things that was like, hey, this first rollout, we're just going to limit where people can get it so that you have to go out and grab it. And then the next couple of years, they wound up just putting it in bottles so you can wind up picking it up. And then when that happened, it was like, okay, Yingling Porter's coming out. My beer distributor only has like 40 cases. And when it's gone, it's gone. And people were picking like 2 to 3 cases up at a time. So I think Yingling definitely made a shit ton of money off of that. And Hershey made their money off of just selling chocolate to them anyway and putting their logo on it too. But that was a really good marketing tool that Yingling did to pick that up and get some extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that kind of goes right into Hershey, which, Hershey was a huge chocolate guy, and he basically had uh, the monopoly on chocolate back in the early 1900s. And I watched some documentaries on him, and it's super cool that Hershey is where I grew up. It was about 2.5 hours away, but they built it up. They've got a huge ass amusement park now. Um, and that chocolate, they did a lot with it, and they actually did a lot for just the chocolate industry. But if you listen to some of the shit that those guys did way back when, and it just isn't Hershey, it was like Milton and Mars and all those other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they were a fucking bunch of dickheads.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Not good people.
No, they definitely used labor to their advantage, and cutthroat the other guy. And funny story. So not funny story, but funny historical thing when you're looking at Hershey. The dude from Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, everybody loves those. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking delicious. He actually worked for Hershey for a little bit, and he was trying to come up with his own. and he did it in his kitchen. And he was like, I got this peanut butter. I'm working with this recipe. Because back then there was so many chocolate people that basically anybody could have been a chocolatier at that time. And they could have sold their own candy for, 2 cents or whatever at the general store. And then there you go. So there was a lot of homemade people. So this guy basically undercut Hershey at the time. And Hershey was like, dude, I'll buy you out.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, look, I'll buy you out. You can get profit off of what you're making, but he also improved a little bit too by giving him that standard, because the guy took forever to like get it all standardized. And man, now Reese's is one of the top selling chocolates. I think it's in the top 5, or it might even be in the top 3. So
I do love me a Reese's bar.
yeah, man, they're pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. So to kind of come back around more so on the food side, have you ever had this monstrosity I'm looking at known as the Philly Surf and Turf?
No, what is the Philly Surf and Turf?
So it is known as under the radar and tastier than it sounds. You start with a sturdy bone from your local Italian bakery. You add a fried fish cake, so like a fillet of fish that's been fried. You're going to slice a hot dog down the middle and stack them on top on the other side of that, right? And then you're going to top it with pepper hash, which is a mix of Pennsylvania cabbage, pepper, and vinegar coleslaw. And apparently it's a delicious combo that I'm not sure if I would drink this sober, so I would need a couple of those Yinglings with me. And you can get this at Johnny
Yeah,
Hot's.
where the hell is Johnny Hot's at?
I don't know, bud.
Yeah, I can't say that I have had that before. So I think I might just have to pass on that one, or be like you, where I might have to have some alcoholic beverages in order to partake in that.
Mm-hmm.
But even
Apparently,
then, I don't even think drunk me would be like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's have that. Drunk me is going to be
apparently,
like, dude.
Johnny Hot's is really close to the Pennsylvania Treaty Park, and it's in Philadelphia.
Okay, yeah, I have not had that.
Oh, so that
I
is
don't know. I've been to way better places, I guess,
yep.
in my Philly excursions. I
Mm-hmm.
went to this one little Italian joint. It was like a corner. I mean, the restaurant itself was basically carry out. There was like 2 tables that you can get in. It had to have been maybe all of like 900 square feet for the whole
Hmm.
entire joint. And that was probably some of the best pizza slash. The second night I went there, I got a chicken parm sandwich that I've had in a hot minute. So I don't think I would be looking at this place for a surf and turf to go.
No,
Let's
no,
stuff that down my gullet.
right. Yeah, that's redneck surf and turf right there, you know?
Some dumbass made it though, and is selling it, and it's
Yeah.
probably doing well for himself.
So have
Yeah,
you ever
that's.
hung out in South Philly at all?
Oh yeah, man, I've been around all Philly.
Um, are you familiar with water ice?
No. What is that one? Is that a drink?
It is a drink. So,
Lay it on me what that is, just because I can't say that I've had that one before.
okay. So John's Water Ice has been spinning filtered water, sugar, and fresh fruit juices in batch and freezer since 1947. You'll find bits of pulp in the lemon water ice, but John's most refreshing flavor is their saloon, and this is being poured at a bar. So I'm not sure if the place is called as a saloon or John's Water. Sometimes our information gets a little funny like that, but it's a family-run Italian spot that serves citron vodka with lime and cello when it's in season, which is in around early April through late September, and it's known as an Iceberg Martini.
Yeah, that's one of those specialty things, man, where you go to that place and that's the only place you're gonna find it.
Yeah. And
You
as
know,
far as the texture goes, it's not quite like your Italian ice, and it's also not quite like a slushy. So,
hmm. Yeah, I can't say that I've ever had one of those.
yeah.
But again, I mean, it's that seems like that's just at the specialty place where
Yeah.
you're only going to get that. You know, you're not going to be able to find that in other places of uh, Philly. You know, or in
Right.
the state. So
It'd be that way sometimes.
it'd be like that sometimes. You're right. Um, I think. Let's see. What's another thing that's Pennsylvania? Oh, it's another beer, and it's a big one too. And it's just in Latrobe. So, did you ever hear of Rolling Rock?
Yes.
Yeah, Rolling Rock, that green, you know, everyone has seen that bottle before. That is also a Pennsylvania beer, too. Now, it's not as old as Yingling, but it's still a pretty widely known and, pretty, I'm not going to say decent beer, but it's something that college kids would drink
Yep.
because it's on the cheaper side, you know?
Yep.
um, my uncle before he died, and as I was growing up, that dude drank so much Rolling Rock. I, and I don't know, maybe it was just because it was cheaper and he could drink more with it, but I have never seen that dude without a Rolling Rock. Now, towards the end, he wound up switching to Mick Ultra because I think he had diabetes, and beer and diabetes don't mix, but yeah, Latrobe, you got yourself some Rolling Rock. So have
Oh,
you ever have you
Rolling
ever
Rock.
had one of those before?
I've had Rolling Rock.
And what are your thoughts on that?
It's beer.
It's beer.
Yeah. Like that's the nicest thing I could say about Rolling Rock. It's not even the beer that I'd like to do like beer pong with, because it's like it's heavy enough to make it not enjoyable doing drinking games with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, drinking games are supposed to be done with like Bud Light,
Mm-hmm.
something that's not gonna kill you. Like you're not gonna be doing, beer pong with freaking that mead that you're doing, or
Oh
like a
no.
heavy ass stout, right?
Right, right.
So I totally get that.
Oh,
But yeah, man, that's kind of funny that there's two like widely known beers that are from Pennsylvania. So that's always a pretty good thing to hear about.
no, I got one more I want to bring us out on. And
Okay.
have you ever had the Pittsburgher?
The Pittsburgher. I didn't spend a whole lot of time out on the western side of Pennsylvania. I've been to Pittsburgh a few times. Saw a couple games, but I have never had some of that food.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the Pittsburgher then?
It is a massive sandwich piled high with French fries, coleslaw, and tomatoes. Um, with your patty topped with sharp provolone, smashed between two slices of Italian bread.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty good sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind that for sure. Now, where is that at? Does that be found anywhere in Pittsburgh, or is that just
The
like a
pastrami
one?
brothers.
Okay, I wonder if
Um,
that's by Three Rivers. Like, I wonder if that's down by the stadiums.
yeah.
See, Pittsburgh is kind of weird because there's like you got the rivers coming together, where you have your stadium.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about some of the other stuff because Heinz is one of the big things in Pennsylvania, and that we could probably get to episode 2 on that one,
Yeah.
uh, because I think we're kind of running out of time, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll save that one there. But Pittsburgh is like one of those ones where it's you got the river, but you also have these little mountains up to the side of it. So a lot of places to go.
A lot of things to see.
Yeah, a lot of things to see. My buddy actually went out to University of Pittsburgh for college, and we went out there. That's a cool campus. A lot of cool stuff out there too.
Nice.
But yeah, there's still a lot of things to chat about when we're looking at Pennsylvania. So we'll have to save those for episode 2.
Yep.
So well, you want to take us out then?
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed our little toe tip into Pennsylvania's food. It's kind of a rambling, not really super research episode based off of homegrown knowledge and kind of recap some of our favorite foods. But let us know, can you find Yingling where you're from? And do you have any insight on the great candy war between Hershey's and all of them people? So, but I've been your host, the Meat Viking, with my wonderful co-host,
Professor Porkloin.
signing off. See you in the next one.